What is going on, guys? We are back today on Showdown for a quick video. This is gonna be 5-10 minutes maybe. It's super short, but I'm gonna be discussing one Pokemon in particular that is Ubers that I think should be unbanned from Ubers. Now, this is totally my opinion, and therefore you can disagree all you want. This is just what I think. Now Blaziken, it was banned for speed boost, I think, and that they didn't want to do a complex ban, so they just banned the Pokemon in general. And at the time, I think OU was just shaping, so it was shitting on everything. But Blaziken, I think, should be unbanned because, alright, so Z moves completely kind of break this thing, so I see why they banned it. Now, a set that I would see, if this thing was OU, was going to be Swords Dance, Substitute, Salic Berry, and then Reversal, Sub SD Reversal, and then Fire Move, whatever. Fire Blast. Not Fire Blast. I'm retarded. Fire Punch. Flare Blitz even. This was a set that I would see most commonly used. I think this is what would push it over the edge. Now 339 attack is nothing to mess with. 284 speed does leave you outsped. By things base 85 and higher in OU. So Hawlucha still outspeeds you. Kartana Keldeo would be probably the hardest counter to this thing. Leaves you outsped by Kieran Black, Landorus, Lottie, Lopunny, Manaphy. Marowak Alola would also be a pretty big counter to this. Mew would be good. Mimikyu. Mega Swampert, I guess, could take a hit. T-Tar, not really. Zygarde, potentially. Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini and Toxapex were two big things that I was looking at that could counter it. But then again, so you got SD, so you're getting down low enough with Substitute. You're getting into Blaze range. You get an SD up behind that sub. You sub again. Now you're in Blaze range. Eventually you'll get there. And then you have enough HP to make one more Substitute. On the switch, you sub. Now you get your Salic Berry. Now your Reversal's probably going to be the most powerful that it's going to get. It's going to be at well, if you're at 33, 33% HP, which, bring my calculator on here, 301 times 0.33. So if you're at 99-ish HP, and then, so that's going to be 33, then times 0.25, because you got to find the percentage of that, you'll get down to about 75 HP, which is enough to get your Salic Berry, enough to get Blaze range, and a pretty strong Reversal, which is boosted by this, and then Flare Blitz is just hella strong. Hell, another thing that I could see it run is Flyinium Z, with SD, Flare Blitz, Brave Bird, and then Fighting Move of some variety. Probably knockoff. That's not a fighting move. I am retarded. I am sorry. I could see low kick. I could see high jump kick. I could see, a lot of things that could run with this. Another set that I could see is bulk up Ground EMZ. I think would be pretty good. Bulk up, Flare Blitz, and then you get a fighting move or coverage, because the fighting move's not really that useful when that fighting move isn't going to be doing much for you. Yeah, it's going to hit what's it going to hit? That fighting ground or fire ground already hits. Like, looking in the tier, the fighting move doesn't really hit much as there's quite a lot of resistances. But another thing that it could hit, another thing that kind of walls this, in its base form, Gyarados does wall this because immune to Earthquake. If you're running Ground EMZ, you can't hit it with the Earthquake. You can't hit it with Flare Blitz, really. I mean, you can, but it's not going to do much. But then you're like, oh, just kidding, Thunder Punch. That rounds out its coverage. Another thing I could also see, bulk up Ground EMZ, I think would be pretty good. Another thing I could see, special with like specs. Specs, this is going to be like the complete opposite, so it's like that with a timid nature, not. And then it's going to run like, this shit's going to run like Overheat, Focus Blast, hell, HP Ice, and then another special option it does have is like special options are not that good. You can run like Flamethrower or Fire Blast or something like that, but this thing could hit hard, 319, but it's just not fast enough, I don't think. Yeah, it's a good wall breaker, but it's just not fast enough. A lot of common things in the tier, such as Greninja, Keldeo, standard kind of things, outspeed this. Like Landorus, Furion is the main thing that I'm seeing here. Because defensive Lando can potentially wall this. Not wall, like, oh, you get countered by this thing. No, it has the Intimidate. So, say you're not behind a sub, if you are running Substitute. The super effective Earthquake is obvious. The super effective Supersonic Sky Strike is also obvious. Hell, a thing that I could see with this is the Intimidate. This thing is on hyper offense like all the time. Stealth Rock and then Explosion. This thing I see on hyper offense like all the time. This thing I think would be the main offensive counter. Defensively, I could see Unaware Clefable doing pretty well, being resistant to the fighting move, taking a little bit from the fire move. Another thing I could see is Quagsire. Now, it's going to take a lot from the fighting move, not so much the water move. Hell, if it was to run Ground EMZ, Toxapex would be a pretty strong counter. It wouldn't take much. This thing, I think, would be the hardest counter to it, being that specially defensive can beat the special sets, physically defensive can help beat the physical sets. And then it does have Haze, and it does have Recover. Another thing that I would see is Tapu Fini would see a rise in Z Haze. Z Haze gets rid of the stat boosts and heals you to full. It'd run a water move, so like Surf or something like that. Probably, yeah, Surf. It would run Surf, and then Nature's Madness, and then Taunt. This thing could do a lot of work to, like, these defenses are really nice, and the special attack's even decent. And it's outspeeding. It's outspeeding the Blaziken. Yeah, it'd have to run Timid, but you could run enough speed to where you're still outspeeding. Like, I think, let's find this out. 265, that's not enough. You'd have to outspeed 284. Even then, I think the standard defensive set runs like 252, 252, 8. So if you didn't want to run that spread and sacrifice some speed, you can run 216 plus. Because that's going to outspeed it by 2 points. You can run 216 and then 40. If it's a physical set, like based off of the team, you could probably tell. Or you can run Spadef if you want. This is basically Suicune, but an OU. And then it can't be status, which is really nice. Suicune would also be a pretty hard counter to this thing. Probably an even better counter than it already is. But, yeah, so that was my discussion video on Blaziken. Leave your thoughts in the comments if you want. Give me some things that I didn't discuss, like potential Z moves that would run, potential moves. Yeah. So I will see you guys in the next video.